tonight. We're excited to be here for an introduction to distance Reiki and pyramid healing with Dr. Steve Johnston. If you could just wave and say hey to everyone.
Hey, everybody.
And Harlan Bell. And Dr. Johnston is a naturopath, Reiki master teacher, and master herbalist. His important work includes leading edge treatment of AIDS patients in the 1980s in international clinics. He built his first pyramid many years ago out of pipe and sucker rod, and he'll tell us what a sucker rod is in a little bit. And he worked with pyramids in his endeavors since, like placing his proprietary herbal blends under a pyramid for the energetic benefits. And in addition, he performed several experiments with radionics tools and pyramids, and he's the co-founder of the Universal Healing Arts Foundation. And he and his wife also developed a skincare line. Welcome, Dr. Johnston.
Thank you. Can I be heard?
Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you. Can everyone hear him?
Yes.
Great. And Harlan Bell is also here. Give us a wave, Harlan. Hey there. He's a natural-born healer and a master of several energy modalities. He's certified in Reiki as a master teacher, and he is an empath with advanced spiritual and intuitive gifts. He is a licensed massage therapist and certified in Qigong. He performs pressure point therapy, reflexology, and crystal therapy. He blends and uses essential oils, embraces solfeggio sound work, chakra alignments, and raindrop therapy. He's a mystic, ordained minister, spiritual life coach, shaman, and spiritual seeker who uses pyramids in his work. So we're really excited to be here with both of you.
Thank you. How do we want to open this?
Excited to be here.
Yes, indeed. Honored to be here.
We had a wonderful session this morning. Dr. Steve, why don't you start talking about your work and energy healing and pyramids?
How far back do you want to go?
It's up to you, sir.
It's up to me. Okay. Let me give you some background with me. I have 4 doctorates. And I gave up my medical license over 45 years ago to become a naturopathic healer. I founded and published 3 newspapers. One was Mundo Latino, which was a Hispanic newspaper. One was the Herald, which addressed other regular readership, and a newspaper called Natural Fact. And that was all over Texas many years ago. I sold 2 newspapers, the Mundo Latino I sold, and the Herald I sold. And I have not published Natural Fact since. I was ordained on July 28th, 1972. And I have been a minister since then. That's a long time. Something I found today, and I'm going to mention this before I get going. After our session this morning, which was a very good session, I want to thank Harlan for that. I've been walking around without my cane. And Harlan knows, how I am. I use a cane because I was shot years ago. But getting back to my work, I successfully opened 2 AIDS clinics, the first 2 in the world, one in Dallas, Texas, and one in Toronto, Canada. I also worked with the now infamous Dallas Buyers Club, and we also had a hospice. I have studied all over the world. Most of my advanced practice has been done in Europe and Asia, as far as learning goes. I have experienced some wonderful things using energy healing. I have been inside the Great Pyramid. know, Harlan's an intuitive, so am I. My Qigong masters, when they were teaching me, showed me things that at that time I would never believe until I saw it, felt it, and practiced it. And I use that in my healing. Every patient that I have, whether they're in front of me or on the other side of the world, I experience what I do. I have a 70% success rate with what I do. And my full intention is to heal the earth, the people on it, not just physically, but also emotionally. We've also founded 2 churches, Church of the Good Sumerian, not Samaritan, but Sumerian, and Rock Chapel Ministries. Both are outreach ministries. They're both, we've rescued battered women, troubled teens that the county would send us for healing, and we were the last ditch effort for them. We had a rescue. We had, and I'm going to get to the pyramid in just a minute. We had a animal sanctuary. It was a birthing center for big cats. So we had tigers and panthers, and we also had wolves. And interesting thing, how animals react to pyramids. They tend to be drawn to the energy of a pyramid. Case in point, the deer that lived on the property was 30 acres of land. This was in Texas. The deer would come down and sleep next to the tigers. And when I first saw that, it really amazed me. Something else happened too. One morning I came out from the house with a cup of coffee, and I sat down on my porch just to relax and wake up. And I turned to my right, and sitting not more than 20 feet away from me was a female mountain lion. She was loose, she was wild. And she just sat there, and we sort of communed with each other. So the energies of the pyramid just brought her there. Now, interestingly, about a year later, she came back with her babies to show us her babies. And as far as Panther goes, my wife and I, like I said, we had a birthing center. We worked with Texas A&M, and actually Siegfried and Roy's Animal People helped us also, and the Cincinnati Zoo. We had a panther that was delivering, as a mountain lion that was delivering, and we actually went into her den and helped her deliver her cubs. This is not a tamed animal. And it's remarkable, the energy, the peaceful energies of pyramids and spiritual people. So, you know, later on, you know, I'd like to do a little ceremony here, but that's later on. I don't know how long I can stay on this call. I've had a very, very long day today, and so is Harlan. But, you know, if you have questions, you said something about what is sucker rod. Sucker rod is used, it's iron, it's metal, it's used for drilling, very long pieces of metal, easy to work with, easy to weld. And what was built was Egyptian style pyramid, all metal, all the same material. And it was very, very, very powerful. It was too powerful, as a matter of fact, and they had to take it down, but it was way too powerful. So now, you know, I wish I had a pyramid. We're going to build one out here this year, but right now this is what I'm working with. So it's kind of neat. So if anybody has any questions, you know, in my AIDS clinics, which the protocols I established are still being used today, and my cancer clinics, which I sold the clinics, they retained my protocols. One's in Mexico, one's in the Dominican Republic. You know, people go in and a month later they come out and they're normal. I use every modality for healing, and the list is too long to go into. love the earth, and I love people. And that's about it with me. I've talked enough about me. I'll let Harlan talk about himself. He's good at that.
Take it away, Harlan. You are muted.
Yeah, come on, Doc.
Tell us about your pyramid work.
Well, as I said this morning, my pyramid studies started when I was actually studying the Tesla papers. I mean, everything that I could find on Tesla and his studies on the 369, the Fibonacci sequence, all of the other things that had to do with that. I studied numerology for a long time and angel numbers. But I started using the visualization techniques of the Great Pyramid, and almost everything I do, whether it be for healing in any modality or stopping the giant tornado, and it works. Stopping the bad storms, it works. And that's when I ran into the Russian style pyramids, not through you guys, but I ran into them through watching wisdom teachings back in, it was about a year after the big tornado that hit here, that was the biggest one on record in the whole world, just coming right at my house. And when I threw that visualization of the Great Pyramid up over my whole neighborhood, which my neighborhood is from 12th Street, North 12th Street down to South 4th Street and Santa Fe over to Janeway, which is about a mile to a mile and a quarter square. I threw it up over that whole neighborhood and it diverted the tornado and it knocked the energy out of it. Of course, I don't know if I actually told you, Doc, but you're always there in my mind. So when I threw the pyramid up, I not only threw pyramids up over me, but everybody I love. There were tornadoes going down all over the place. I've got family in the northern part of the state, and all of their stuff dissipated too. I didn't share that with you this morning. So when I start visualizing pyramids, like in the work that we did this morning, we put a Great Pyramid of Egypt large enough to encompass the whole earth at the end of the healing session today. So we sent healing to Mother Earth and everybody on and in her. And that's the power of visualization. We all know that I've also studied the mind, the three minds, the triquetra of the mind, conscious, subconscious, and super subconscious. That is how we do the work that we do. I learned so many different things just to keep my massage therapy license, which is part of my practice. I have to continue my education every 2 years. I have to get so much more education. So I'm constantly studying and constantly getting other certificates and putting it all into what I do. There was so many things through my early lifetime that were just intuitive. They just came. Never studied it, but I was doing it. And I've had many success with spiral fractures of bones that they said they had to do surgery on. No surgery was needed. The bones mended. There are a couple of them there. I've had much results with numerous patients that had scoliosis, some that were so bad that they needed surgery to break their backs. They didn't want to do that. They just wanted the healing. 8 sessions, hands-on healing therapy, and without any manipulation, just hands-on energy and crystals. And within 8 sessions, their backs were almost straight enough that they could just walk around without pain. So the energy moves in ways that are unseen to the naked eye. And I didn't have to do any like chiropractic work or any kind of physical manipulation to do that. Worked with a gentleman who had 10% heart function. The doctors gave him a 90-day survivability rate. Weren't going to give him another heart. He was also drug addicted. Worked with him, and he wound up with 65% heart function, normal function, and lost the drug addiction all at the same time. Hasn't used a day since, and he's still alive 11 years later now, and thriving, and enjoying his life. Cancer, I've had a young lady come in, a few of them actually, with tumors the size of golf balls, and 30 minutes with crystals and hands-on therapy, and the tumors disintegrated. Visualization of pyramids the whole time. So, and until I started, actually, I built my own pyramid from watching wisdom teachings. Since then I use it in my practice, but I also still visualize. I use tiny pyramids too. I have pyramids all around the place, and the energy vortex that is here wherever the pyramids are is amazing. We just got to remember the mindset when we go to set meditate. I usually meditate 20 minutes before I go to my pyramid, and then make sure I'm in the right spiritual mindset before I actually set in, because they're amplifiers of energy. Whatever you're dwelling on at the time that you go in is what you're going to create. That's what I found over the years that I've been using pyramids. I'm just going to keep going with my education. About 6 years ago, I came up with the idea of I wanted to do something for humanity, do something for the people, do something for the earth. And I approached Dr. Johnston and another friend, and we put together and formed the Universal Holistic Arts Foundation. And it doesn't have the funding it needs as of yet, but we will have the funding we need to achieve our end goal. Our end goal is, and if you want to add anything to it, our end goal is actually a school of higher learning for many modalities of healing, including pyramid therapy.
Yeah, it'll be a full university. It'll be a full healing university focusing on natural modalities, including pyramid. And a lot of research, and attached to that will be using earth energies and pyramid energies in the fields that we're going to be growing our own crops, our own healing herbs, and that's how we're going to teach our students. And something else I want to get into also is you know, there's so much research done on cancer, and figure, you know, how many billions upon billions of dollars have been donated to cancer research. Funny thing, cancer is a modern disease. And, you know, way back, you know, people knew of some people who had cancer. Yeah, it's not a stranger, you know, it's not an unknown disease. But in modern times, it's become, everybody knows somebody who's got cancer. And you figure with billions of dollars being spent, somebody's going to come up with a cure. Why do you think that nobody's come up with a cure? That's a good question. Exactly, Harlan. You know, if modern medicine worked, why are there still sick people? Now, back in the 20s and 30s, cancer was being cured left and right. Royal Rife Jr. had clinics. He was persecuted. Hoxsey was persecuted. People would go into his clinics, and 30 days later, they'd come out cured. They would run out of the country. Somebody who worked for me as a researcher who became very famous, I don't know if anybody's heard of Hilda Clark. She worked for me as a researcher, and she went on, she did a lot of studies on parasites. And because of her, I ended up with almost 1,000 different varieties of parasites samples. But she was run out of the country too. Unfortunately, she passed away because of stress mainly. But, you know, cancer is curable.
Yes.
The body is able to cure itself if given a chance. Harlan mentioned what he's done. I've had patients who have come and they have been given 2 weeks to live. I had one patient that was brought in, pancreatic cancer. She was cut open like a piece of meat when they sent her home. They put one staple in. 6 months later, she was back running her business. You know, they sent her home to die. And 6 months later, she was running her business with no problems. And, you know, I've had things like that. Like I said, I've had a 70% success rate. I've treated thousands of people. And my AIDS patients, I've got AIDS patients that I treated back in the 80s that have thrived. Father, children, mother, you know, the whole thing is all, if you, the earth energies. And I also, you know, I use radionics also back then, which is distance healing. I used radionics devices, and I that's what I use, and along with the herbs. But, you know, Harlan brought up a point about education. You have to educate yourself, and you also have to have a positive mindset when doing any healing work, whether you're healing yourself, somebody else, or the earth. It's got to be a positive mindset. And yes, there's a lot of things going on this earth that we don't like right now. People are confused. People are being misled. And, you know, it's up to people like us worldwide. You know, I don't know how many people are on this session, but I know this is in other countries, hopefully. We have to unite. We have the power to do that. We know how to use energy to heal the earth and heal people. And that's something that we've got to be able to do together. We, the people, together, have got to do this because the earth needs it. So, anyhow, I think I spoke too much.
And just you're awesome, Doc. You always are. There's always so much knowledge that comes out when you speak. One of the other things I did do is with another ordained minister friend of mine, we started the Universal Life Church of Oklahoma. Also, there's a number of different things that I've got in my mind that I'd like to get out, and a lot of different research that I've been doing that I'm going to be doing more of, and more research with pyramids that I want to be doing in the future, and I will be.
Likewise.
There is a question from the audience. Can someone be healed if they don't believe it or are not open to it? From Kelly.
Not that I've seen.
No, nor have I. You've got to believe in what you're doing, because your mind is the most powerful thing that you've got. Your spirit controls your mind controls your body. If you don't have the mindset to heal, you're not going to heal. If you put negative thoughts in your head, you're going to get a negative result. If you go around saying, oh, whoa, I'm not going to heal, I'm this, I'm that, oh, please, you know, you're not going to heal. It's as simple as that. Conversely, and this has been proven over and over again, you change your mindset and get back to a positive. Yes, I can use mental imaging. You picture this disease leaving your body. You picture yourself being healed. You raise yourself up, and then you can be healed. But to answer your question, no, you cannot be healed if you're not believing in what you're doing. That's impossible.
And as I said this morning, I got robotic for some reason. Am I still there?
You're still here.
Okay. As I said this morning, with my friend that I've known that had the heart problems, he knew what I did. He's known what I've done as long as I've known him. I've known him about 26 years, and he knew that I do healing touch, and I do Reiki, and I do Qigong, and many other modalities. and he was at his last options. He was fully Christian, not believing in anything other than just God being for him. He says, you know, they've given me 90 days to live, and I want to live, and I don't want to die. And I said, so there's your start right there. You don't want to die. I said, so can you show me where there is a tattoo on your body or a number somewhere that says that you're going to die on any given day? No, sir, there's not, is what he told me. I said, so if you really believe that you want to live, do you believe that the doctors are right? Or he said, I don't want to. I said, well, then don't believe it. The magic of belief is unreal. If you believe something, you're going to bring it to you. If you believe that you're going to be healed, you're going to be healed. And that belief has to be deep-seated in the subconscious and super subconscious. So it takes a mind change. So he took and changed his whole idea of God is the only one that can do anything for me to God works through channels, and he was healed.
Exactly. You know, something along with that, Harlan, if I can interject, what your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve it. It's a very, very good adage to it. I'm going to take this as far as positive. I lived in a leper colony. I lived in a leper colony for several months. The most positive people I have ever met in my life were the lepers that lived there. And, you know, I used to tell people who were down on themselves, hey, if you want to get an uplift, go to the leper colony for a day. Get around these people because they're nothing but positive. I did not meet one negative person on that leper colony. They were happy. They knew what they had. And they were just beautiful people. And that's in Carville, Louisiana, by the way. It's one of the largest leper colonies in the world. It's a permanent colony. And the researchers out there were absolutely fantastic also. But positive, oh, they were positive about everything. You know, you ask them, you know, you say, well, what's wrong? Well, I have a slight skin problem. That's kind of an answer that they would give, but I'm getting better. So, you know, the mind controls your body. We are energy. We are made up of energy. And when we use a pyramid, when we use our minds, when we use our mindset, we can accomplish anything because we are energy. And if we put our energies together, all of us, imagine what could be accomplished. The one direction, and energy never dies. Energy can get stronger and stronger and stronger. And all you've got to do is believe in what you're doing and build that energy up. For the good of the earth, for the good of people, bring people together. This earth needs healing so desperately. And I'm babbling, but that's okay. Harlan has seen me and give seminars, and I can go on and on. I'm not in Babylon. No, my wife is sitting across from me. Speaking of my wife, something I wanted to bring up too, I digress. She founded a school years ago, and it was a daycare and a school combined. And she taught the core curriculum of Texas, plus things like quantum physics to first and second graders, college level science courses, advanced math, dead languages, old language like Latin and Sumerian. I know what you're doing. Huh? I know. I rubbed off on you. Anyhow, these kids, they loved it. They're like sponges. They pick everything up. Now, years later, every one of those kids have gotten college scholarships, full scholarships, because she opened up their minds, their energies toward learning and not held back. So, and I applaud my wife. She did a fantastic job. And, you know, the sad part about it is we couldn't find qualified teachers. And so we were teaching everything. And we had help. But as the school grew, she won a national award for this. And but anyhow, that was a long time ago. But energy and advance your own minds. Harlan brought up continuing education. You've got to be educated. Got to continue educating, strengthening yourself. And but I think this group, I don't know how large it is. If we
We're
could
19 strong tonight.
well, that's marvelous.
Yes.
And will grow, and will grow. And 19 strong can do so many things if we put our minds and energies together. So if I seem passionate about what I'm doing, it's because I am.
You're right.
So
With that being said, I'd like to share this real quick. I was going to share this morning, but I didn't. While we were doing session this morning, my wife had my children out there, and I've got a 4-year-old, a little over 4-year-old. She's almost 4.5, 2.5, and a 9-month-old. They were out there taking in physics. They were also taking in, my wife is amazing. She is so on board with teaching these kids. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's a teacher. We put together curriculum for them. They know 5 different alphabets. They know 7 or 8 different languages, and the age they are. My 4-year-old's reading at a 4th or 5th grade level now. My 2-year-old's already reading. I haven't tested her to find out what level she's at, but she's reading also. Something that the governments around the world have known for hundreds of years, and the Jesuit priests have known for many more than that, is that the child's mind, from the 3rd trimester in the womb until they're about 7 to 11 years old, they're in theta brainwaves, which is hypnotic. And everything that they see, hear, and take in with all of their senses is what stores in the subconscious brain. That is the, in computer speak, that is the hard drive. That's where they're going to go. Every time anything happens in their lives, they're going to go right back to the subconscious program. So that being said, we can, after we get past 11 years old, the way we reprogram our subconscious from all of the damage that was done when we were younger, because most of us light workers chose lives that were a little tougher, had a lot of difficulties. At least I know that for a fact with me. I had to reprogram my subconscious. And I started doing that when I started paying attention to Dr. Bruce Lipton and his scientific research on the biology of belief. And I believe that paper was put out in the late 70s. So I've been following him for some time. I've been reprogramming my subconscious, and I'm making sure that my kids are getting the best of the best. They are the future of this world, and all the children need to be. People think, oh, they need to just have fun and play. Well, they do. They have fun and play, but then they're getting it all in through their senses. They're not actually sitting there watching it. They're getting it, and it's coming to them, and they're so intelligent, and they can spout it right back. Like I said at the beginning, before everybody got on the call, my 4-year-old was attuned to Reiki master level, Reiki master teacher level in the womb. She came out as a healer. She knows when somebody needs a healing. She will walk right up to them, and she doesn't even bother to ask, but she puts her hand right on them, and they say, wow, the energy coming off that child. And I explained to them that she's giving them a healing. And they say, how did she know? She just knows. She's connected. So all of the children can be that way as long as we don't let society damage them.
That's a very good point, Harlan. Society does damage. Society, his children are amazing. I was the OBGYN doctor that went through. Thank you. But anyhow, children are amazing, and they're our godchildren. So they are amazing, and they progress every day. And some of the things that they've done, flat out, just amazes me as they grow. And watching them grow, it's really awesome. It's awesome, and I'm proud of Harlan because he's a good dad, very good dad. But anyhow.
Would you like to start a treatment or your session, your energy session?
Would I? Sure.
Great.
Now, Jen, I'm generally the conduit for what I'm about to do. And part of this energy is also going out to Harlan's sister.
My daughter.
Daughter out in,
My oldest daughter.
Out in California, who took ill, getting off an airplane. She doesn't feel real well. So part of this healing will be going out to her. This will be kind of unusual, what I'm about to do. Like I said, I'm generally a conduit, and other people do their speaking and stuff. But let's just get put together our energies and relax.
Before you start, Dr. Steve,
Yes.
I forgot to mention at the outset, Lisa couldn't make it tonight because I don't know all the details, but I know that her son is having some sort of a healing crisis of some sort. So could we include him in there as well?
Yes, we can include everybody. So I generally don't do it by name, but everybody knows what we're going after. I also need some healing here. I've got Harlan's aware of it. I'm not going to bring up what is going on in my household, but I also need that too.
Okay.
So Salud, Asris, Siris, Taknito, Nanka, Paagri, Asris, Dulu, Damu, Degula, Kampa. The gods in heaven above, please protect the ones that we love. And we send our healing to them and blessings to them. We honor all that you've created. And we pledge our hearts and lives to honor Mother Earth and ask that abundance grow strong through the seasons. We bring light, we bring love, we bring harmony, peace, healing to all of this earth, especially to the ones that we mentioned, Harlan's sister, the child, my household, and anybody that needs healing. We honor fire and ask that the earth be warm and glowing with love in our hearts. We honor wind and ask that we will sail through safe and calm. We honor water to clean and soothe, that the earth will never thirst for love and caring, and the people that we need to heal are cared for, nourished, and healed. We honor all the forces of the universe, and we pray for harmony as we grow together in peace, love, harmony, and unison. Aho.
Oh.
And yes, I am Native American and European. That's,
And Doc, I want to tell you, I did not tell you this earlier, but you kept saying my sister, and my sister is actually still going through some things also. So I'm glad you did include
oh,
her.
cool. That's good. That's good. Well, we did it all.
Yes.
I know it was short, but sometimes short energy with intensity can work. By the way, the language that I used was Sumerian.
Mhm.
That's how ancient I am.
How did you learn Sumerian?
Pardon?
How were you able to learn Sumerian?
I grew up in it. It's a handed down tradition.
Okay, okay.
And right now with my kids, we are also teaching them Gaelic, because it is a dying and lost language, and we want to keep it alive.
Wow.
They know Gaelic, they know Russian, they know Mandarin Chinese, they know a little Japanese. They also know Spanish, French, German, and Italian.
Wow.
Multiple. Does anybody have any questions of me? I don't know how long I can stay on this call. I like questions.
No questions yet, but lots of good feedback. People say that was beautiful. Charlotte's hands tingled throughout the session. Dana says thank you for the blessing of healing. Jay James says thank you, Dr. Stephen Harlan. Felicity shares that her daughter was 2 and she was able to do healing and they were working on each other.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Well, somebody just put a thing up here. Dr. Steve, can you treat something? And I don't know what it was.
It's something remotely.
Yes. Yes, I can treat something remotely. It's what I've done most of. I have patients all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my patients I've never met.
There's some questions about the university you're trying to develop too. If you...
It's a concept that we've talked about for a very, very long time. We actually have a site that we picked out when we formed the foundation.
And it's still available.
That's a good thing because it'll be put to use. And it's like Harlan had said, it's going to be teaching all modalities. We're going to bring in master teachers from all modalities, all healing modalities, whether it's in herbs or whatever. And it's going to be a college. It's going to be a university. So, you know, it's going to be many, 4 years, 5 years, however long people, we decide for a degree, it'll be fully degreed. Like I said in the beginning, I have 4 doctorates, so I grant degrees. And it's going to be one of, what I want is for it to be a model for other schools, and, we may build one someplace else too. And I know it's going to be successful. I also want part of it to be a lot of research,
Yes.
research laboratory. I thrive in labs. I love labs.
I love research myself.
So, yeah, put me in a lab and I'll forget. I don't care. So, or put me in front of books. I'll do the same thing. But all healing modalities. If anybody, once we get this, I wish I could turn this around to show you, but
Yeah.
I got the same thing. If anybody's interested, once we get funded, everybody will know how to find us.
Yeah.
But once we're funded and get this going, I determined back then that we could have the buildings up, not stocked, but up within a few weeks.
Yeah.
a beautiful building technique that is used, that buildings would be up and structurally sound and tornado proof and everything else. And the buildings would be up, everything would be set up. So whenever we have funding, we're going to do that. In the meantime, I know Harlan and I are available to teach people if they need to be taught. One of my former students, I gave him my clinic up in Toronto, and I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard from him in a long time, but he thrived up there. And I was offered a hospital wing up. Well, I was offered a full hospital actually in Canada when they changed the HIPAA laws. At the same time, I was offered a hospital in northern Iran. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't go there. But I was also on the board of directors of a hospital. This hospital, I'm going to mention this because this hospital was in the bottom 10th, 1/10 of all hospitals in the United States. That's how bad it was. And when I was asked to get on the board of directors, I told the chairman, I said, look, you don't want me on your board because I walk in there, people are going to hate me. He said, no, that's why I need you in there. And within a very short time, yeah, people did hate me. But they started to realize what I was doing. I cleaned out the hospital and they became a very, very good hospital after a while. But that's the kind of person I am. I'm for the people. I'm for health. I'm for education. But getting back to the university, when we get funded, everybody will know that we're funded and we're moving along with that. And we will also incorporate, like I'm going to start out here. I wish you could see out here. There's 10 acres back here. I'm going to put a large pyramid back here. Harlan, there's one at OCCC also. I just found it out.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, and they have a meditation room inside there with a pool. So anyhow, we'll progress as time goes by. And patience is a virtue, and I know we'll be funded very shortly.
Yes, we
How do
will.
people get in touch with you for healing or for education?
Get in touch with me?
Yeah.
Put out well, it's easy. Call me.
Here.
I don't.
Don't call me.
I do not text. I do emails.
Right.
And I'll answer an email with a phone call. So if you want to put my work out to everybody, that's my email and my phone, and I answer the phone unless I'm asleep or with a patient. So that's how you get in touch with me. And I love helping people.
Can you give us those contacts, though, your eve and phone number?
My email is, let's see, please post. My email is drsteve 13, as Dr. Steve 13, at outlook.com. And my phone contact is area code 405-637-8586. It's 405-637-8586. Like I said, I don't text. You can send me a text and I'll call you, but I won't text you back.
Cool.
And as for mine, I gave it this morning, but I'll go ahead and do it again. It is bellfamilystore@gmail.com. And also 405-343-4408. If you do Facebook, I don't have it installed on my phone, but I do check it daily. I have myself and I have my healing practice on Facebook. Bell's Healing Touch Energy Therapy on Facebook is my healing practice. And then Harlan Bell, parentheses, light worker, and you'll see the tree of life in the header. And that's me.
Cool.
Don't have a website as of now. I did have one at one time, and I may be building another one soon.
Likewise, I don't have a website either, and Facebook kicked me off of there because I was telling the truth.
Yeah, they've shadow banned me a few times. That's why I don't always use the Facebook, and that's why I don't have it on my phone anymore.
Yeah. I have a question that I want to try to pose to both of you, and it has to do with the role of belief and intention in the healing process. And I'm just going to, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I know there was some research done 5-6 years ago at the Australian National University that kind of replicated some delayed experiments on the dual slit stuff, and basically it proved that consciousness is what creates our experience, and don't need to go into it. But when I think about what you guys were just talking about, how important belief was, I wonder, for example, when I did research with plants, I put a pyramid in to a planter box, did a controlled experiment, had another planter box with the same plants, and they grew faster. Now, did that happen? And I'm asking, it's a theoretical question, but did the plants grow more rapidly because they were receptive to it, or did they have the consciousness to accept that healing, is what I'm saying, or did they just not have any subconscious blocks to the healing? What would allow a plant to just naturally heal or benefit from the energies, whereas a human can have a belief system that will block that healing? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Can I answer? I'm going to allude to what Harlan said this morning, that everything is connected. That's string theory. And there's a blanket theory over that one. But anyhow, plants have feelings. There was testing done years ago where they hooked up machines to them, and it performed experiments, and plants have feelings, they have memory.
Right.
And I said this morning's session that when my wife and I go out in our yard, we've got a pretty large yard, and she's got beautiful gardens out there. We talk to the plants, they respond, they grow. So as far as growing in a pyramid, yes, you obviously wanted your plants to grow. They felt whatever you were feeling toward them. Now, the ones that you put into the pyramid, you gave them extra energy to grow. And you said those are the ones that grew faster.
Of course. Yeah.
So they had that extra energy to draw on. The others still grew, but they grew slower.
Right.
So in your intent with them, they can feel that. They can definitely feel all things are connected. A dog, people look at dogs as dogs, but they're not. They have the mental acuity of a 3-year-old human and the emotional level of a 3-year-old human baby, and all things have feelings. I had to trim a tree out here, and I talked to that tree for days, asking permission to just trim. And finally it gave me permission and actually pointed out where to do that. So that might sound strange to somebody, but I don't care. But yeah, plants have feelings. There is no such thing as a totally inanimate object. All things have vibrations, and they feel the vibrations. So your intent was put into those plants to grow, and they did. And I don't know how else to answer that, but
well, so I think what you're saying is that it really was my intention that was at work there. That's what it sounds like.
Well,
without a corresponding blockage, because every single plant grew faster, and that's what I was going to say. It wasn't like 70% or 60%. 100% of them grew faster.
Exactly. And humans put up their own blocks. See, that's a problem. Humans put up their own blocks. It's like your question, was it me? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But it was. You put in good intentions into that, but people put up, all these blocks to themselves, which stops their personal growth, their energy growth, and everything. What you do affects everything around you. Right. You have an aura. You know that. You know what an aura is.
Sure.
You have an aura. Your aura is energy. Your energy is put out. People feel the aura, so it's energy to energy.
Yeah.
So if you're doing good intentions, you're going to send out good intentions, whether it be to a plant, a rock, crystal, or person, animal, whatever. It's your intentions that are going out energy-wise. So when you're dealing with anything, good intentions, and stop the negatives. Here's so many negatives. And if people would just stop it, well, I can't do this because of this, and I can't, when you do the I can't thing, I like one of the greatest philosophers in the world. Don't try, do.
Right.
Does that sound familiar? That's one of the greatest, Yoda. So
there is no try, only do.
only
There's
do,
do
exactly.
or do not. That's
exactly. So, that's positive. And don't put negatives in it. If you don't succeed on one thing, you learn from that and move on. Make yourself stronger. And that's how you grow. That's why they have erasers on pencils. You make a mistake, you correct it, you learned it, you grow. So there shouldn't be any can't or can't, depending upon where you're from.
I don't remember who the scientist was that was actually doing that experimentation, but I do remember that David was trying to get with that scientist and perform the same experiments and couldn't get it to go on film. And he thought about taking a lighter and burning the plant, and the plant screamed over the electronic devices that were hooked to it. So,
absolutely. Plants have feelings.
Right, they have feelings.
Yeah. There was a judge. I'm going to take this one step further for energy. Plants have feelings, period. Yeah. You stroke them, you talk to them. They love good music. They love Baroque music. Classical music, if they grow, they sway and everything else. There was a judge who, when he sentenced somebody in the jail that they had in this town, he set up Carillion photography. And his thing was, he did not give a sentence, but his sentence was, when these people's auras change to good auras, then we'll let them out. And it worked. So energy is everything. And working with a pyramid, it just amplifies your energy. So always use good energy in your work and stop with the negatives.
And I do want to share on that same note, there's a lot of science to back up all of this through Quantum University, Heart Math Institute. Every bit of it is all about belief. And like I said, I can't say more about, I can't say any less about these guys that I've mentioned, because I follow their work, I study their research, and it's provable scientifically, and they can repeat it about the mind, about the trifold of the mind. So it is all part of healing ourselves, healing the planet, healing others, and others means plants, animals, everything, the earth, all of us. We're all one together on this planet.
Yes, we are. In this universe, we're all one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave the group. There's a love coming out from me to all of you. Be blessed, be happy, be positive, and I hope to see you all again soon. So, namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Dr. Steve.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
And we will be glad to come back anytime. I know that we were going to communicate on the weather and the pyramids and my other experiments on seeds and pyramids. So I'll be interested in hearing from you. And if anybody else would like to get in touch with me, please do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Harlan? Okay, well, we thank you all for attending this evening. We do have a guest lined up for next weekend. We'll be posting that. Just some housekeeping details for those of you who went on the website. It's still down. We were able to post the links for this yesterday on the website, but I hope that the website conversion will be finished and we'll have those links for next week's guest on there early next week. But if not, please check back and we'll have it up as soon as we can. Allie, any other housekeeping from you?
I think that's it. If anyone has any questions, you can reach me at survey@pyramidScienceFoundation.org. And I just typed that in the chat. So feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Okay.
Namaste.
All right. We thank you. We thank you. See you next week.